What is the most memorable moment you shared with a stranger who you never saw again? The day my dad died, I was holding it together as best I could. It was one of those days where everything feels unreal, like life has hit pause but the world around you keeps spinning. Late that night, after everyone had left or gone to sleep, I found myself needing to escape the silence and the heaviness at home. I decided to go to Target, to get some groceries and maybe find a quiet corner to zone out for a while. I wasn't really paying attention as I wandered the aisles, just moving forward mechanically, grabbing a few things I thought I might need. My mind was racing and empty all at once. Grief had this way of squeezing you tight while making everything else blur together. When I finally made it to the checkout line, I was carrying an armful of groceries, milk, bread, some frozen meals, and a container of sour cream. I was tired, barely holding myself upright, but somehow trying to make it through. As I stepped up to the counter, the sour cream slipped from my grasp. It fell to the floor, exploding everywhere. The lid popped off and thick white cream splattered across the floor, the conveyor belt, even some of my groceries. In that instant, I completely lost control. It was like something inside me snapped. The grief, the exhaustion, the weight of the day all came crashing down. I started to cry, ugly cry, the kind where your whole body shakes and you can't catch your breath. I was so overwhelmed that I didn't even try to hide it. My hands trembled, my eyes burned, and the tears just kept coming. Before I even realized what was happening, a group of women who had been waiting behind me rushed in. They didn't hesitate or ask if I needed help. They just took charge. One grabbed some paper towels and started wiping up the mess. Another began picking up my groceries, moving them to the side to keep them from getting ruined. A third woman walked over to the refrigerated section and grabbed a new container of sour cream. None of them said a word at first. They just worked silently, efficiently, like a well-oiled machine. I was too stunned and overwhelmed to speak. I barely managed a weak "thank you," my voice cracking under the weight of emotion. They smiled gently but didn't pry or make me explain. Instead, they helped me get everything back together, made sure the register was ready for me, and even insisted on paying for the new sour cream themselves. All the while, I was still sitting there, tears streaming, feeling like the world was both crashing and being held up all at once. Eventually, the store returned to normal, the other customers moving along with their own lives. The women finished cleaning up and handed me my groceries back with a kind final glance before quietly slipping away, disappearing into the crowd as if they had never been there at all. No words were spoken beyond a few soft reassurances. No names were exchanged, no promises to keep in touch, just kindness in its purest form, a small act from strangers who stepped in when I was at my lowest. That moment stayed with me, long after the sour cream had been wiped up and the tears had dried. It was a brief encounter with humanity at its best, when strangers became a lifeline without even realizing it. I never saw those women again, and I never even knew their names. But their compassion, their quiet strength, and the way they took charge in a moment of crisis has stayed with me ever since. Whenever life feels overwhelming, I think back to that night in Target, and it reminds me that kindness can come from the most unexpected places, and sometimes that's all you need to keep going.